This is my new 1993 S10 Blazer. It's a Tahoe LT Tahoe package. It is completely loaded. Power seats, power windows, power mirrors. It's fancy. Very fancy, very clean. Clean interior. I just need to vacuum it out a little bit. Probably gonna do that tomorrow. And very fancy, very clean interior too. Very soft cloth. So comfortable. And the rust is very minimal. That's for sure. But what it does have of rust, I'm just gonna clean it up, take some steel wool to it, and then after it's all clean, take and undercoat it. The only issues it has is, well, it has a digital instrument cluster just like my 92. I'm probably eventually gonna figure out a way to, as you can see, some of it doesn't all light up, but the tachometer, it doesn't work too well. Usually it just shows redlining the whole time when I am most certainly not. I think the highest I've revved this up to while driving it so far is about 2,500 revs. And, but as you notice there, the mileage, 89,000 miles. It, yeah, that's really low. Really low mileage. Hard to find these with less than 100 some odd thousand, which isn't really all that bad, but it's that's low. That's the lowest I've seen in person on one of these. Now the fuel, I filled it up last night and I drove it well over 70 miles today, and I only went down 1 bar on the fuel gauge. I hope it's accurate. I drove it quite a bit today and yesterday. But it runs really good, drives really good. The first thing I want to get fixed on it though is the coolant temperature gauge. It does not work. Either it's probably the sensor. It could just be gummed up with a little bit of deposit, causing the connection to be bad. Because there's no connection at all. It does not when it's running. Even if it's at its prime operating temperature, which should be around somewhere between 180 and 200 degrees, it doesn't show up at all, when you can clearly see that it does in fact light up. So yeah, but gonna have to get that fixed. Although it could just get a new sensor. It might need a new sensor. Probably what I'll do first is I'll unplug the sensor, clean it out with a dry toothbrush, and then put the sensor back in, let it warm up, see if it registers. And if it doesn't, well, new sensor. And if that doesn't work, I'm not really too sure what else it could be, but I'll figure it out. But what I would like to do is take this cluster out and get an adapter kit. Maybe I might have to do a little bit of rewiring and whatnot, and get a analog cluster to put in there. Reset the mileage to where it's actually at. And the thing is with the analog clusters, they do not have a tachometer, so I'd probably mount a tachometer right about here or something like that. But yeah, I mean, that's really the only things about it. But also sometimes the tachometer will spaz out and it'll just be jumping all over the place. Which is a little entertaining, I guess. But yeah, the 4-wheel drive works great. Transfer case is fine. Pretty much everything works on it. That's really the only thing. And I'm too general with stuff and doesn't always close. And yeah, the tires aren't in bad shape either. They're pretty good. One of them is a little low on tread. I think it's this one, or maybe it's two of them. That one and another one. But on my 92, I think tomorrow I'm going to swap out the tires. Not have time, because on this 92, as you can see, these are all brand new. You can actually still see a little bit of a line on there because I bought these new for it, and they're going to go on here. And this one's getting a little bald, but very clean, very nice. I enjoy driving it quite a bit. I mean, it's not a stick shift, but it's, you know, transmissions, it shifts really smooth though. But it's still enjoyable even though it's an automatic. But it's enjoyable because it's my favorite vehicle ever made, so I mean, duh. Of course I'd enjoy it. I gotta touch these up. It's gotta take and still wool it. It just needs, but the paint just needs buffered a bit and it'll be all shiny like how it is back over here. It's just a little oxidized. But it'll be fine. It runs really good. And I'll probably have some clips of me driving it as well. But it's definitely loaded. Loaded all up. I found some pretty cool little things in here too from the previous owner. Like I actually found his glasses. I have them in here from the previous owner. I think it was like a, well, it was probably an older feller that had it before me. And then before him, I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was either an Interceptor or it was a search and recover vehicle. But yeah, this box right here, I do not have the key to it. But what it is that there is a microphone. You'll be able to see it right over. It's right here. That's a microphone. It's hooked up. And you can actually talk through a megaphone. There's actually a megaphone under the hood. And it might have actually had sirens too at one point in time. I don't know. But I'll lift this up here. Engine's still hot. So I just got done driving it. But yeah. Newer alternator too. And then there's the megaphone and the horn. Yeah, it might have had sirens on it at one point in time. And it's got that famous 4.3 liter, 256 cubic inch Vortec engine. One of the best engines ever made. And transmission 4L60E, which is an alright transmission. With me driving it, it should last. Because I drive this thing like I want it to last me forever, which I do. The tailgate doesn't open. It's, you can see it's dented in and it's damaged, so I'm gonna have to fix that. That's really about it. I mean, it doesn't need much. And there is another antenna port. You can see police department, whatnot. But it's this thing's very, very clean on the interior. And like I got some of my stuff in here. Oh yeah, the other issue with it is that the oil pan gasket has a slight seep, but I do have a new pan gasket, so I'm good to go. Just gotta get it put on. It's just getting the pan gasket off is a pain. So I might have to actually have someone to do that because I don't want to screw anything up with that stuff. Bob will work on the sensors and whatnot and the instrument cluster. And then yeah, there's all my stuff in the back. I always got extra coolant on me just in case if I need it. Because when I was looking at this, the first time I looked at it, it was really low on coolant, which was kind of like a red flag for me. But I added some. I haven't had any leakage or anything, so it seems all right. Kind of wondering why it was so low on coolant though. But could have just been low. Plain and simple. Yeah, and then there's my 92, which doesn't run right now. The fill pump is, the connection's bad, so it doesn't always turn on. But this one, it needs quite a bit. It needs a whole lot of work. Transfer case problem, issue, thing. And the four-wheel drive does not work. It actually has a vacuum leak preventing the front diff to engage. And it needs a new front suspension. It's really bad. The ball joints are trashed and the tie rods are pretty done. Rust-wise, it's not too bad compared to most of these up here in Ohio. I mean, like, it's pretty rusty, but it's all just pretty much surface rust on the frame. I'm going to clean this one up too. But I'm going to be slowly working on it. I'm going to make it just like this 93. And probably eventually going to have to sell it, even though I don't really want to, because it's the first Blazer I ever bought. Or first It's the first gen S10 I ever bought in general. But I probably will have to sell it after I get it all cleaned up, or at least to like a drivable state to where it's a reliable daily for. But I'd only sell it to someone who really wants it. They'd have to really want it and appreciate it, and I would not sell it to someone who would beat the crap out of it. They have to appreciate it. At least almost as much as I do. But it's kind of hard to appreciate as much as I do. That's a little bit up there. Yeah, this one's got it's got the stock muffler on it. It sounds nice as is. It has a nice little rumble to it. But I also have, the muffler on this one has a huge hole in it, and it sounds pretty gnarly. Pretty good deep tone too. But I'm going to change that out. I'm going to put the muffler that is on the 93, I'm going to take and put it on this 92. And the 92 is going to need new brackets, but this is my new muffler. It is a Summit Street and Strip muffler. It's basically like a copy of a Flowmaster 40 because I didn't have the money to get a Flowmaster 40. I thought I did in the first place, but turns out I didn't. But this only cost me $40 altogether. Not too bad a deal for a muffler in general. I always hear it sounds good on these 4.3s, so might as well put it on the 93 then. It'll be a little bit louder, but it won't be like overbearingly obnoxious loud. But plans for this thing, I mean, just clean it up a little bit more of what it does have of rust and keep it clean. I'm going to keep it stock looking. You know, I might tune it a bit, maybe put a sound system in it, and that's really about it. This bumper's really cool. If I end up hitting a deer, it'll protect the front end, which is nice, so I'm keeping that on. Because there is a lot of deer around here. I mean, look at where I live at. This is all woods. So, yeah, lots of deer and wildlife. So, I got a lot of coyotes too. But, yeah, that bumper will help out. And we got some thunder about the storm. And, yeah. It's got a lot of storage compartments, whatnot. Keep like deodorant stuff in there, because why not? Some tools. I'm keeping this little fella there. I don't even know what it is, but I kind of like it. It's pretty cool. And I'm keeping this here too. Came with it. It's like this guardian angel type thing. And I'm keeping that right up here on the visor. I also found in the same spot I have it at, it's right here. If you can read that, maybe. So yeah, I'm keeping that in here. And then something I always had in my Suzuki that I now keep in this 93. It's similar to holy water, but it's holy oil. I keep this in here. Holy oil. Holy olive oil. That's been blessed and whatnot. Yeah, I might have to jerry-rig something on these cup holders or put like an attachment to where it holds the cups a little bit better. And then, yeah, nice little spot down there to put whatnots. I don't really keep changing my car because around here, well, in the nearest city, if you keep changing your car, you might end up with a busted window. It is, yeah, a little shady in some areas. But it's whatever. It's how it is in every city. Every city has its areas like that. But I'm out of the city, so it's all good. And I don't ever plan on moving into a city. Plan on staying out in the country. But yeah, it's a really nice truck. I like it a whole lot, and I'm going to drive it forever. This thing's got a lot to go if I were to put my foot down, but I'm not.
You won't.
No, I won't.
No balls. You won't.
Nah, I won't. I baby it. I treat this thing like a pet.
Oh God.
Taking the 93 out on it. My brand new 93. It's just barely broken in. Just gradually picking up speed. I don't push it at all. Almost get on the speed limit. Hold on, give me a few seconds here. It could get up to it real easily if I wanted it to, but I do not like pushing it. I like to just let it chill and, you know. Hey, here we go. It's my favorite road to drive on. One of my favorites.
I feel like that's everything.
Yeah, the tachometer don't work right. Nor does the coolant gauge.